Want help to grow your business? Download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.
Hello, it's Dale Beaumont here, and welcome back to this series called Design My Website, where we're talking with two amazing website developers that have created over 4,000 websites. And we're going to get some valuable insights in this interview, and it's going to be titled How to Plan and Write the Content for Your Website. So let's get into that right now. Welcome back, guys.
Thank you.
Over here we have Tamsin, and we also have Chris as well. They're from the company called Magic Dust, and we're going to be talking all about writing and planning content for your website. So let's get into it right now. First question, Chris, when should we start planning out the content for our website?
Yeah, so ideally you want to start planning the content out before you build the website. If you have an idea, at least if you start to plan out and have a good feel for the content that you want to have on your website, you can design the website to suit the content rather than the other way around. Quite often people don't think about it to the last minute, so and it means that you've got to try and fit your content into the design. So it's much better to have it first.
All right, yeah. So that's really challenging, I'm guessing, when you've done all of the design, everything's there. Then they say, "Oh, can you make all these changes?" And then it doesn't look quite right. If the content wasn't kind of made to go with the website.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay. Now, I just want to ask you, Tamsin, you've worked with obviously hundreds of people and taken them through this process. In your experience, is it better that people write the content themselves, or should they be outsourcing the content to a professional copywriter, for example? What do you recommend?
So I would say, it really depends on the person. If they love to write, if they've got a lot of marketing material already written, and it just comes naturally to them. Obviously, they know their business better than anyone else, so that would be, cost effective and easy if it is an easy process. The problem is with a lot of people is they think they're going to do it themselves, and it's really not their forte, and it's not natural for them to do it. They procrastinate and then it never gets done. So in that case, I would just cut to the chase and get a copywriter to do it, because content is often the thing that holds up a website from going live. And also more and more copy is more important nowadays. So to have copy that's written for search engines and really optimized to be picked up by search engines is better. So if you are going to get a copywriter, make sure, so yes, if you aren't confident doing it yourself, then definitely get a copywriter, get it out of the way, but make sure that they do have a marketing angle, so they're looking at keywords. It's not just about describing your business these days, which is great. It needs to be for the user that visits the site, but also needs to be picked up by search engines.
Okay, yeah. Great. Now, if you've already got existing content, because some people watching this may already have a website and they're maybe rebuilding it to make sure it's responsive, or it could be open source, and so they're using this as an opportunity to upgrade. Should you just use the content you already have, or do you recommend kind of rewriting the content for your new website?
Yeah, look, I'm a big fan of repurposing content, so I think that the first thing I would do is have a look at the content that you have. So if you've got an existing website, reviewing that, looking at what's working, and maybe just tweaking and updating if your business has changed slightly. The other thing, if you've got a series of, if you're looking to create a lead magnet and you've got a series of blog articles, you could turn that into an email marketing sequence, or you might have brochures that you can take elements off. If you haven't got a website but you've done some print material, you might be able to take elements of that off and use it for the website. So I would start there and then create the things that are missing.
All right, Tamsin, you mentioned before around...
Can I just quickly add a point on that?
Go for it.
If you have an existing website that has content on it, you would want to talk to someone about how changing the content from one website to your new website might affect your rankings. So if your content is ranking high in Google, if you change it, it may affect that. So you would really want to be mindful of that. So if it's good and it's ranking, I would sort of keep it the same. So definitely repurpose in that example, yeah.
Okay, great. And talk to your professional developers, and they should be able to give you some good advice.
Yeah.
Okay, now I want to ask a question, because you mentioned before around SEO. How much content should we be aiming for? Like if someone's going, okay, I'm sitting down now to write all my content, am I writing 1 or 2 paragraphs? Am I writing a full page? Is it a couple of pages? When do I know to stop?
Yeah, so nowadays, the more content you have, the better. Again, this is this is for Google. If you're talking about Google and search engines, as long as possible. So we're talking, some of our sales pages, we're in a very competitive industry, websites. So some of our main landing pages are like 2,500 words. But obviously, if you're a local butcher or something, you don't really have, you can't really write more than, 400 or 500 words. So to start off something like 400 to 500 words, you're looking at, is it interesting? You need to keep it interesting for the reader, but you obviously want to optimize it, and as long as possible is good for Google. So it's sort of somewhere in there.
Sure, and I suppose we should probably explain, people need to decide whether or not SEO is going to be a strategy that they're going for with their website. Some people just want to have something online where there's a little bit of information, but they have no intention about having their website ranked. But if you do, what you're saying is Google's looking for authority content which actually has value, has substance, has depth. So if you can write more around your topic, then Google will put that forward as premium kind of content and get better rankings. Is that sort of what you're saying? Okay, great. Now, I want to talk about how important it is, Chris, to know who your target market is before you start writing. I'm guessing you've seen a lot of people just rush out and write stuff and then not even realize who they're writing to. So how important is it to get that clear before you start? Yeah,
it's super important. The website needs to appeal to your target market, your customers, the people that you're trying to attract. So if you need to, it's really critical to have some sort of understanding of what's going to be meaningful for them and the kind of things that they're interested in. Why are they going to choose you over one of your competitors? So it needs to, you need to have a plan out. What's the, who are the people you want to appeal to? What's the sort of content that's going to engage them and make them decide to do business with you?
And we've got a lot of other great content around how to really discover who your ideal customers are, but that's a process that people should go through before they start writing. Part of it's the demographics in terms of the age or the gender or kind of the profile of these people. The other part as well is in terms of the mindset, the psychology, their fears, frustrations, desires, all of those things, and getting clear on those. Okay, but it's super important, right? The next question is around, do you think that the copy, Tamsin, should be perfect before you put it live, or is it a case of just put it up there and I'll tweak it as I go? I suppose there's pros and cons of each of those. One, it could take forever if you have to make it perfect. But secondly, you don't want to be putting up stuff that is not the best representation of your business either. So what's your take on that?
I would say if you've got a strong marketing campaign behind you, you've got a launch, you've got people ready and going to be going to your website when you launch, you've been promoting it, it's really important that the copy is good and is ready at that point. But if your website has been completed and the content is the last part, definitely just put something, I would say put something up there. And you can also switch off pages. So you can, most websites, you can actually just turn pages off. So, sometimes just starting with your home page, make sure all the contact information is right. And then if you haven't written your About Us page, just switch it off, launch the site. And then as you're writing the content, you're just switching those pages on.
Yeah, so you might have a team page or a testimonial page and you don't have that ready, you can add that in time. Okay, I want to talk about a process called like linking or internal linking. So if you've got sort of two pages, obviously it's pretty, it's commonplace these days. Is it a good thing to link to other pages, like at the bottom to say, hey, to contact us, click here, or to see testimonials, go here as well? Is that a good practice?
Definitely, for two reasons. For Google, it is really important because it creates authority. So if you're linking to a page, even internally, it does create a focus of this is the most important page. And then it is also for the user, it's much easier navigation. So if on your homepage you have mention of your services, just click to your services page. And then if your most important page is your homepage, it's a good idea to have as many links going back to that homepage so that Google recognizes it as this is the most important page.
And it's giving people something to do so they stay on your website, right? Because if they read it and there's nothing else to do, they could quickly go, okay, I'm done, and close it down.
Yeah, it's good user experience to be able to have it all sort of internally linking.
So internal links are great. And what about linking externally to other websites? I know that kind of goes into a whole other topic of SEO, but should we be doing that? I'm guessing we're sending traffic away from us. Is that good or bad?
I think if you're linking to affiliates and people that you work closely with, or sort of an industry leading website or something like that, it's good. It's worthwhile. Obviously, it helps. It'll help in terms of if those people are then linking back to your website, it'll help with SEO. But obviously, you don't want to be just driving traffic to any website. So just linking to another person for the sake of it, you wouldn't do that.
Right, but you can also, when it comes to linking, especially outside, have it open in another window, right? So it doesn't close down your website, which is good.
You would always set it. It's good practice to always set it so that it opens in a new window.
Okay, so all this you can plan out. What about testimonials? Are testimonials important? And if so, how many should we have? Where do we put them on our site?
Yeah, so testimonials are a good way to build credibility with people coming to visit your site. Having happy clients that you've worked with previously saying how they were happy using your service and how it worked for them. It helps build trust. So, if somebody who doesn't know who you are, they're coming to your website the first time and they can see that you've worked with other people and that they've had a good experience, it just helps them feel a little bit more confident in doing business with you. So it's really important. Generally, wherever you're trying to promote, we'd always sort of recommend if you're trying to promote a service, you would have the service and then a testimonial if somebody's had a good experience.
Right. And do you recommend putting them at the sort of in between the content at the bottom of the page, or should you have a whole other page and link to it with all the testimonials there? What are your thoughts?
You can do both. I like to have it in amongst the site. So I like to, as I was sort of just mentioning, if you're mentioning something about a service, it's nice to have
a related testimonial.
Yeah, that says, I bought a logo from, I bought a logo and I had this was my experience, and it's next to where you're promoting the services. But you can also have a page where people can go and review all of them as well.
Yeah, great. And then also, just quickly on the content side of things, for people that are going into international markets as well and may want to have their website translated, I know that there's some tools out there that makes that easier, and one of those comes from Google as well. Have you found that that's a good thing to do, is to offer a basic translation on the website?
With Google Translation, it's something, but it's.
To continue enjoying this presentation, download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.